Jesus was crucified next to two criminals. One of the criminals recognized his guilt and recognized Jesus' innocence. And the other, out of his suffering and pain and really arrogance, started to revile Jesus himself. What's noteworthy is what the good criminal, the good thief says. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. He recognizes in Jesus a king from another world. The world to which each of us have been invited. And he wants Jesus to remember him. As Christians, Jesus is inviting us to remember him during this special week called Holy Week. The word holy means set apart, consecrated for God. This week that we're undergoing today, that we're starting today, is different from every other week in the entire year. And my invitation is to make this week holy. Sure, we're going to go back to our jobs. Sure, family life is going to go back to normal. But something different is happening. Jesus is on his way to the cross. And if we don't remember him, if we don't draw near to him in his suffering, we're not going to be able to say, Jesus, remember me into your kingdom. We're going to be the ones crying out, crucify him. And this is precisely what happens throughout the centuries. That Christians who take seriously the passion of our Lord are the ones that draw near to him in their suffering, are the ones who find Jesus in the power of his resurrection. And so my encouragement is to make this week different. Some Christians decide not to watch TV or have music or entertainment during Holy Week. Others make sure they have special time set aside that they can pray. They can read through the passion of our Lord Jesus. Others make sure they do stations or they pray the rosary, the Divine Mercy Chaplet. But regardless, my invitation is to make this week holy so that you can draw near to Jesus in his suffering. Because he has drawn near to you in your suffering. Certainly, one of the things that the church gives to us to remember Jesus is the Sacred Triduum. Holy Thursday Mass is going to be here at 7 o'clock on Thursday. It's a commemoration, a celebration of the Last Supper in which Jesus gives himself over to us in service, but most specifically in his body and blood. And it's at that meal that Judas leaves and begins his work of betraying him. Certainly we go into Good Friday. Good Friday is this special commemoration of the Passion of Jesus. And this year, we're going to be celebrating Good Friday with the rest of the church at 3 p.m. Because the church has asked us to celebrate this at 3 p.m. It's a very, very old and long tradition. Because the church remembers from 12 to 3 is a very sacred time. That traditionally Christians have honored this time, and we're going to have the Stations of the Cross at 1:30. We have a devotion to Divine Mercy at 2:30. And 3 p.m. with all of the rest of the churches in the world, we're going to be celebrating the Lord's Passion here in the church. And finally, as we celebrate Easter, we will kick off Easter with the Easter Vigil, which is the mother of all vigils. The most joyful night in the history of the world, because that which destroyed death will be overcome. And we can rejoice that the light is stronger than the darkness. My invitation as we celebrate this Holy Week is to walk with Jesus, to remember him, so that when we die, he will remember us, and we will be risen with him forever.